I had the mindset of just like moving, and like I was like, I have the time. I'm not really doing anything else. And then it became like my new addiction. I just went out there and I had to do it, whether it was rain, sleet, snow. There's inmates that, I was locked up with that could tell you that, they thought I was crazy because I was like jogging and doing all types of stuff in 3 feet of snow.
So 6 months down the line, when you started to get seriously fit, which you did, and you trained a number of your fellow inmates and friends in prison, how did that change impact you?
Yeah, so after 6 months, I lost over 70 pounds.
Which is 30 kilos to those that don't know about pounds or more than. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, about 30 kilos. And I guess it was life changing for me in a physical sense. Mental, not as much, because I still had the mentality to like hustle and thinking that I'm going to go back to the streets and do what I do. But at the time, physically, I was able to tie my shoes without like lifting I had to like cross my legs to try to tie my shoes at the time. And at that time, I could like bend over and tie my shoes. And I started catching eyes of other inmates, and they saw that I was, consistently out there. And there was one big guy. His name was Bus. He weighed over 300 pounds. Which
Love
is,
the name.
you could divide. Yeah, he was just, we called him Bus because he was the size of a bus. He was huge, which, I could calculate probably 120 kilos, 30 kilos. So huge guy, short like me, not tall. He was like 5'9" like myself. And he asked me to run with him, and I was like, yeah, let me train you. And so he started running with me, and he brought a couple other friends. He eventually lost over 100 pounds. I helped over 20 inmates who was over 1,000 pounds combined, and I didn't think I was going to start a business behind it. I just had the mentality of like building some sort of camaraderie, and it was just holding each other accountable. It felt good to, have a team that you got out there and you worked out together, and
What was your thinking? I mean, I know you hit another moment of change, unfortunately, which kept you in a bit longer. But what was your thinking about going back out? You mentioned that you thought you're just going to go back to the streets and so forth. Was there a point at which you thought, actually, I've got to do something else with my life?
no, no, my mentality was like, I need to go out there, and yeah, primarily because I was like, what else am I going to do to provide for my family when I'm going to go home? And I've been in similar situations where I was in for a year and come home and maybe try to apply for a few jobs and be frustrated at the fact that they're going to deny me because of my criminal record. So it was like, why bother going that route? And it was not until the end of my incarceration where I had I call it a spiritual awakening for myself, where I ended up in solitary confinement due to, I
Right.
remember my sister finding out I was in solitary, and she writes me a letter telling me to read Psalm 91 from the Bible. And she's super religious. I'm not a really religious person, but all I had in my cell was this Bible, and that's the only thing they can't take away from your items. And so that's the only thing that they gave me, and it was the Bible that my sister gave me early on in my incarceration. About yeah, like a year into prison, she gave me that Bible, and so I only used that Bible to keep a address book. So like all my homies, all my friends that were like leaving out of prison, I was just writing their phone numbers, names, and contact information, so I could like
I love that
go
in
out
the
there.
Bible. It's beautiful.
Yeah, yeah, that was the address book,
In the holy
just the
book.
first, yeah, just the first couple pages, because that's the only thing they can't take away from you. So, and I was like, out of boredom, I decided, first of all, she gave me this letter, and I threw it in the corner of my cell, and I'm like, hell no, I don't need God. I need a lawyer. I need to get out of this situation. And it was not until like a couple days later, sitting there out of boredom, like that, I decided to turn to the pages she told me to read, Psalm 91, which states, "He who dwells in the shelter of the Most High will rest in the shadow of the Almighty. I will say of the Lord, He is my shelter and my fortress, my God in whom I trust." And as soon as I read those words, there was a stamp that fell out between those sound pages, as I was laying down in my bed, and I felt like chills run down my body. I felt like there was something bigger than myself.
Was that an epiphany moment for you, do you think? Was that, the awakening?
Absolutely.
And then, so what did that lead to? Did you feel you had hope at that moment?
I felt I had hope, but I also for me, I was intrigued on what more the Bible had to say. So I read the Bible from front to back. And as it was weird. It was just weird sensations that I was feeling as I read the Bible, because the cell I was in, it was about 100 degrees. It was the middle of summer. There was no AC, no air ventilation, no fan. I'm just suffocating in there. I'm basically naked, sweating. And I remember every time I started reading it, I felt this cool sensation, like I was in a beach in the Caribbean, with a cool breeze coming through, and it was like a sense of calmness that, like, really, I don't know, helped, like, really calm me down, and help me breathe. And so as that happened, I just kept reading and reading and reading because I wanted to cool down. But also, like, I really understood what the message was, and was, for me, it was just like trusting the process, and doing the right thing day after day, and things will be okay, whether I'll be in the bottom of the dirt, I'm gonna crawl out of it if I keep doing the right thing.
And what did the right thing mean to you? Did you think you're going to do something differently, or just do something different with your life?
Uh, at that time, no, I just knew that I didn't want to sell drugs anymore. I knew that I just didn't want to continue hurting people the way I was, and not having this mentality of, like, I had a really cold heart, like nothing bothered me. I could see death, I could see people getting killed in front of me, and sleep at night, and that was just my mindset. And as that situation happened, my heart started opening, and the idea sparked, and this is where Conbody sparked the idea of fitness. And since I was already helping all these people in the prison yard, working out and all this stuff, I was like, this is the way I can give back to society rather than hurt society. I could help people get fit, get healthy. I felt like it was my calling at the time, and I wrote out a whole mini business plan, wrote out pretty much a book of what I wanted to do when I came home, and outlined all my exercises, as much as I can, and and tucked it away in an envelope.